Good morning, gang. Happy Sunday morning. So here we are into the home stretch, the final 100 days toward the election. How many of y'all, when you were kids, remember doing something like changing the rules to a game or something to even the playing field? Okay. I mean, that one team was significantly better than the other, and so you gave a benefit to the weaker team, right? I mean, I'll give you an example. When I was a kid, 11 years old, 10, 11 years old, there were 5 of us in our neighborhood, okay, that were real close. Myself and another kid my age, and then my little brother, who's 3 years younger than me, and 2 other kids. And the 5 of us hung out together. And we'd play baseball, if you will. I mean, tennis ball on the driveway. But in order to make it fair, because there's 5 of us and you need 2 teams, we had the 3 young kids play against the 2 older kids. But the 2 older kids, we had a bat left-handed. Okay, and so that was kind of how we tried to make it fair. Worked out good for me. I wound up learning how to switch hit throughout my entire baseball career through high school. But that was how things were done. When you were a kid, okay, you don't see pro baseball teams going, well, you know what? Your team's so much better than ours, so we're going to get 4 outs in an inning. Or, I mean, pick any example you want. I'm just throwing that one out there. Well, we're seeing the exact same thing in Washington. I gotta cry. I'm weak. I'm losing, so I need to change the rules. Right? That's what's going on. We've talked many times about the insane idiocy that the Biden administration is going to try to push through. Joe's now a lame duck. He doesn't have to worry about getting reelected. So he's going to try for the craziest crap he can push through. And he came out over the weekend here and has stated one of his big issues, the Supreme Court. He's realized, the whole Democrat Party's realized, that packing the Supreme Court, getting us up to 13 or 15 justices, so Joe could appoint, 4 or 6 more, that ain't going to happen. Okay, there's no way that goes anywhere. So Joe came out over the weekend and said that he is going to push for a constitutional amendment to set term limits on SCOTUS judges and have an enforceable code of ethics. There's already an enforceable code of ethics. They just don't like it. It's not, the ethics they're talking about are agree with us or it's unethical. Okay, typical la liberal mentality. I laugh at it because if we want to set term limits or a code of ethics, why don't we start in Congress? There's something like 82% of the American public supports term limits for Congress. But Congress won't write the law because you've never known anybody in the world who's going to, in politics at least, who's going to vote to put themselves out of a job. Let's talk about a code of ethics for Congress. Gee, I don't know. Should we talk about Bob Menendez? Here's an ethical guy, taking bribes from all over the world, having gold bars and hundreds of $1,000s in cash stuffed in his house. Finally, he went to court and he was found guilty and he's stepping down. Should we talk about Dick Blumenthal and stolen valor? I was in Vietnam. No, you weren't. Should we talk about Mark Kelly, the one who is a potential VP pick? Yeah, how about those restraining orders, Mark? How about those? Can we talk about those with your first wife? What were those all about? Let's talk about Nancy Pelosi being the world's greatest stock picker. Can we talk about those? Yeah. Notice what all of them have in common. No, I'm not saying that there haven't been crooked Republicans, okay? I mean, you can go back to use Denny Hastert as an example, Speaker of the House out of Illinois going back a few years ago. Sure, you've got that. But if you start to look at the unethical behavior in Washington, a whole lot of it seems to lean left. Let's just put it that way. And again, I'm not saying that there aren't crooked Republicans. There have been plenty, okay? There are just more Democrats, and pretty much all of them currently, okay? So Joe wants to put together a law, a constitutional amendment that would force retirement on Supreme Court justices. Why? Well, right now the court has a 6-3 conservative bent, and I always get a kick out of that because the judges are supposed to be, and most of them usually are, apolitical, okay? They follow the law, not the political, which way the political winds blow. Sure, they still have their bents, but the reason it's 6-3 is you've got 6 justices that were appointed by Republican presidents and 3 that were appointed by Democrats. You'd be hard-pressed to call John Roberts, the Chief Justice, a conservative, okay? If anything, he's a moderate, okay, and a slightly left-leaning moderate. Please go back and remember, John Roberts is the reason we have Obamacare, okay? He was the one that was the deciding vote to say it was legal. Last time I checked, Barack Obama was about as far away from conservatism as you can get, okay? And John Roberts stuck with him. So, just saying, the courts don't always fall into the political sway. But so why is Joe doing this? Well, Joe's out of office in 6 months, less than 6 months, 5.5. And the chances of Kamala Harris winning are the same as the chances of me wearing a dress. So, yeah, they know that we're in trouble. Because if Sonia Sotomayor, who's getting up there, or Elena Kagan, not as much, decides to retire or, God forbid, dies, the next president, Donald Trump, will be electing another SCOTUS justice. And you look at who he has appointed so far, okay? 3 young conservative justices who will probably be on the bench for the next 40 years, or close enough. Yeah, they're trying to push out a Clarence Thomas or whatever. They want some sort of reason where a Democrat can get in there. They want to tip the court because they want an activist court. Fortunately, the chances of this happening, which means it's another absolute waste of time, and I'm all for this. It'll hurt Kamala Harris. That's fine, too, because she's going to have to take a side on this. And either she says, no, I disagree with my boss, because remember, she's still Veep, okay? Either she's going to say, I disagree with my boss, which that's not going to look good. The party won't let her do that. Or she's going to say, I agree with it, and the people won't like it, okay? Here's the problem, and this is what the sheep out there don't understand. They think, oh, Congress just has to pass it, and we run the Senate, and we've got a majority in the Senate. No, you got Kamala Harris, who would have to break the tie like the other 33 time she's broken the tie in Washington and sent all these crap bills to Biden's desk to turn into law. Well, here's the problem. Okay. In order to change the Constitution, you need 2/3 of the Senate to agree, 2/3 of the House to agree. So that means you'd need a whole lot of Republicans. Okay. And even if you said, okay, there's enough rhinos and everything that would do this, you still need 3/4 of the states to ratify it. 38 states would have to say yes. It goes to vote. Okay. Take a look at that and go look at the political map of, let's say, how Biden won. He ain't close to 38 states. You know, the chances of it happening, 0. But this is what Washington wants to waste their time on. This is what the lame duck president thinks is a good idea to try to push through. This is all a political game. And this one they have no chance of winning. Why they are pushing this one, hey, keep going. You know, this will fall squarely in Kamala Harris's lap, and it will hurt her more and more and more. It's funny because going into this election, and I agree with what a lot of the people, not the politicians, not the media, are saying, is that the only way Trump's going to lose in November is if he totally screws up himself, okay? If he does something really stupid. They'll try to make up stuff against him, there's no question, okay? Just like this E. Jean Carroll crap. They'll try to, again, change the rules, you know, because they're losing. Expect that as Harris's honeymoon phase ends and her polls start tanking, they're going to try to change the rules. They're going to try to make stuff up, okay? More than they're already doing. But all Trump needs to do is just keep talking about his policies, what he wants to do, and let Kamala Harris self-implode. Every time she opens her mouth, she puts her foot in it. Okay, there's no question. I mean, you know, she's got kiwi as lipstick, you know, but let them self-destruct. You know, again, never interrupt your enemy when they're making a mistake. You know, the Democrats are doing a good job of that. Trump doesn't need to interrupt them. Biden wants to try to do something stupid like this. Just let him do it. Don't have to talk about it. The people of this country, the 70% that aren't brainwashed, okay? Remember, 30% Democrat, 30% Republican, 40% independent. The 70% independent and Republican are smart enough to go, that's a really stupid idea. It's not going to happen. But hey, if they want to waste their political capital, if they want to waste their time and money on it, and if they want to put their presidential candidate, whoever that may be, on the fire to take a stand on this, go for it. Pinball out.